Today we'll be talking about whether hypnosis is a science or scam. But the real question is, how can you use it in your business? And facts are that hypnosis is backed by a hard science and tons of scientific researches proving its effectiveness in the therapy, medicine, and business. However, in our culture, hypnosis is still having a little bad reputation because it's being associated with shamans or an experts from the realm of paramedicine. My name is Dominic Clay. I'm a professional hypnotherapist and IT analyst with a solid technical background, and I am using hypnosis in my daily work. As an analyst, I am interested in specifics and I understand perfectly well what the business value is. Therefore, I would like to show you today that hypnosis is not any kind of magic. Hypnosis is a very effective tool with a huge potential to increase your productivity. So in this video, I will explain what hypnosis is, what researchers backs it up, I will address the biggest concerns regarding hypnosis, and in the end I will tell you why someone like me is even involved in this kind of field. Let's go! But in order to apply some specific tool into your business, firstly, we need to understand what the tool is. So hypnosis is a state of heightened attention with a limited peripheral perception. That's it, and that's a lot. But let me tell you what that really means. So this is the state of an intense focus when none of the distractions from the surrounding are knocking you off your rhythm. It's like a flow state, like reading a grabbing book or executing some quick car maneuver in order to get faster through the traffic. You are so absorbed in your task that the whole world around you is fading out. So probably if someone would come to you and start speaking something to you, you would probably not even register it because you were so absorbed and so focused by the single task. And this is where a whole bunch of myths are piling up. So myth 1. Many people claim that hypnosis is some kind of magical state which might be even comparable to some kind of trippy experience like being under influence of narcotics. Nothing like that happens. As I said, hypnosis is a state of high focus when nothing is distracting you. Alright, Dominic, but if that's so simple, then how would you explain such phenomena as cataleptic bridge, which makes hypnosis look like some kind of superpower? The difference lays in scale, because when I am saying that hypnosis is just a state of heightened attention where nothing is distracting you, it doesn't really sound impressive, isn't it? But if I would add to it that you can focus so much on this state that you can experience entire analgesia during the very invasive surgery operation, or that you can switch off your hunger and feeling of thirst during your work, then you start getting what I mean. Myth 2. In hypnosis you are losing control. Well, notice what I have just said. Hypnosis is a state of heightened attention. So, if you are having high attention, you cannot be losing control. In hypnosis, you are having even greater control over yourself, not less. That's why such phenomena which I have described before are possible. So don't worry, during hypnosis, you won't spill any company secrets or violate GDPR policies. Myth 3. During hypnosis, you are losing consciousness or falling asleep. Well, if hypnosis is a state of heightened attention, then how you could be attentive and unconscious at the same time? So no, that is also false. Myth 4. Hypnosis exists. Wait, what? You heard me correctly. But this is a key point to understand, so listen closely. There is no such thing as hypnosis because the only thing which exists is auto-hypnosis, self-hypnosis. In fact, you are hypnotizing yourself many times during the day. Because think about it, how many times a day you are in this super state of this heightened attention where nothing is distracting you, right? Like you think that you have some kind of superpowers in this flow state, right? But the problem is that on a daily basis, when we are getting in this state, we are not controlling it. We are unaware of how to get it. So hypnosis is about teaching you how to doing it yourself and whenever you want. And myth 5. Hypnosis is some kind of spiritual practice and not a real science. Well, above all, hypnosis is first and foremost just a tool. And how someone is using this tool, that's a completely separate matter. As it goes for me, I am specializing in applying hypnosis to a business. Alright, but up to this point it has been only my talk, so if you don't believe me, that's good, because it would be unwise to believe in everything what you would find in the internet. So now I'm going to back what I've said with the scientific researches. You can find the links to all of those studies on my website, to which link I have uploaded in my description. Study 1, and that's because they actually say that laziness is a virtue in the IT world. I have actually some stuff written on my screen. So study 1 is a study conducted in Germany by the Institute of Psychosocial Medicine, Psychotherapy and Psycho-Oncology at Jena University Hospital. So in this study, the researchers wanted to check in the group of 60 adult people whether hypnosis and so-called hypnotic anchor will be able to reduce the stress responses while performing some particular tasks. The point was to show the long-term effects of applying hypnosis in order to reduce stress. So simply put, the participants have received a suggestion which have been installed through the hypnosis in their minds that every time when they will see a big card with a letter S written on it, S as safety, then their stress will disappear. And after that, they have been exposed to a severe stress and given a task to perform while using this hypnotic anchor. Stress levels and the body responses to it in this study have been assessed through both subjective feelings of the participants, but also by analysis of saliva, blood samples, and the heart rate. And the results showed that the participants which have been using this hypnotic anchor had significantly less tension. Also, they have better well-being and the less negative thoughts regarding their performance. As a side effect, it has been also noted that this lower stress level have persisted in the participants even up to the week. So what does it mean for your business? Well, simple. Lower the stress level and the higher comfort in the workplace leads to the higher long-term productivity. Installing such hypnotic anchor is a simple job, and it can be done even in like 1 hour session. Such an anchor would let you or your employee to trigger the state of a lower stress level or higher productivity on demand, whenever they want, just like it has been done in the scientific research when participants have activated it whenever they've seen this card with a S letter. You can trigger it totally by yourself, anytime, wherever the circumstances, and in the matter of just couple seconds. Imagine running business hypnotherapy workshops for any number of your employees, after which such anchor could be installed and used by them whenever they wanted. Study number 2. And this study was a total bomb when it comes to how measurable the brain function results were during the hypnosis. This study used so-called Stroop effect, and rather than explaining that to you, I will just show you a demo on the screen. As you can see, there are different color descriptions written on the screen. However, each color description is written in the different font color that the color is describing. The Stroop effect is a conflict which emerges once brain is encountering two different stimuli. In this case, text versus color. The phenomenon is that one of your habits, in this case habit of reading, is throwing you off and creating chaos. It's the same case as if you were focused on your work and then suddenly the notification or new email pops out. The researchers at Weill Cornell Medical College had two different groups of participants completing the same tests while simultaneously being connected to the EEG measuring their brain activity and undergoing fMRI brain imaging. One group have been performing this test normally. The other one have received the hypnotic suggestion to ignore the text meaning and focus only on the ink color. And what happened? The group which have received this hypnotic suggestion have performed much better than the other. Alright, but how did they determine it technically? And the answer lies in so-called anterior cingulate cortex, shortcut ACC. Think of this ACC as some kind of traffic controller. Once two different stimuli are going through the singulate ramp simultaneously, in this case, the habit of reading and the color recognition, this ramp is getting clogged and therefore kind of paralyzing conflict appears. And what is hypnosis doing in this case is that it deliberately delays one of those stimuli so the other can pass first and therefore conflict subsides. And that's exactly what researchers have found out on the fMRI imaging. I mean, see for yourself. Those images are picturing the brains of participants who have completed the task without hypnotic suggestion, and you can see how the brain struggles under the conflict. While in this image, you can see the brain of participant who used hypnotic suggestion. And what is hypnosis doing in this case is that it lets this traffic controller to be less overloaded with his work and therefore let us save energy during the decision making. But it's not the best part yet, because the next part is actually mind-blowing. Because the moment in which the visual stimuli hits this ACC, it's actually one of the earliest stages of brain processing. In this study, it was 0.1 second. 1 of the 10th second is the time which takes to blink. Or it is the time which takes for our brain to process that it actually seen some object. This is how fast it happened. And what does it mean? It means that hypnosis might be influencing not only just the psychology, but also a very primal mechanism of our brains. In this case, visual system. So once again, the signal which have been put on hold before reaching ACC have been interrupted after 0.1 second after the brain have registered it. It means that hypnosis allows us to modulate the very fundamental information processing mechanisms inside our mind on the very early stage, and on this early stage modulate our perception. And what does it mean for your business? It means that with usage of hypnosis, you can not only significantly boost the focus of your employees, but also you can help them filter out a swarm of subliminal distractions. So picture the environments like open space call center or a construction site, which are pretty noisy and pretty distracting due to all of the distractions which are going on around the employees. And in such circumstances, it's easy to make mistakes and the work is slowing down. And under the right hypnotic suggestions, your employees could learn how to filter out all of those distractions and focus totally on their tasks. That's not only good for your organization productivity, but also for their mental well-being. And same goes regarding being overloaded, like for example by having a pile of emails to answer. You got a meeting in like 30 minutes, and in these circumstances someone wants you to make an important decision. In this case, you are exactly getting this sort of the Stroop effect, because in those circumstances all of those different elements are fighting for your attention, trying to relay it on the different track, and therefore you are ending up in chaos and you are burning your energy on trying to manage and take care of this chaos instead of focusing on the single task. And this study shows clearly that you can suppress all of those distractions on the very early stage of processing, allowing you to focus on your tasks like never before. Study number 3. A study by Nancy Schoenberger, PhD, University of Connecticut. This study was examining the people with the very high public speaking anxiety and was comparing the cognitive behavioral therapy alone and its effect on reducing the public speaking anxiety with the same therapy enhanced with hypnosis. Those participants underwent the therapy during which they were exposed on the public speaking performances by having to give a talk to the audience. And the study results shown clearly that the cognitive behavioral therapy enhanced with hypnosis gave much better effects when it comes not only to reduce the anxiety during the public speaking, but also increasing the quality of it. And last but not least, additional 2 studies describing the influence of hypnosis for improving the sleep quality. Study 4 were conducted by the University of Zurich Biological Psychology Department in collaboration with the University of Tübingen by Maren Cordy, Angelika Schlarp, and Björn Rasch. I hope that I didn't mess up the surnames. In this study, a group of young women have received a hypnotic suggestions to sleep deeper, with a metaphor of a little fish diving down. After that, they were connected to the EEG, which have measured their brain activity, and then they have took 90 minutes nap. It turned out that the so-called slow wave sleep, so this stage of the sleep in which your body regenerates the most, have increased by, wait for it, 81%. And in the meantime, wakefulness have dropped by 67%. So putting it in other words, it means that the stage of deep body regeneration in the sleep time have been increased for them by the 81% of a length, and the time wasted on falling asleep have dropped by 67%. So it's like charging your biological batteries during your sleep time with a fast charger instead of standard one. And study 5 is also about increasing the sleep quality, but this time among the people suffering from PTSD. Because the goal of this study was not only to increase the sleep quality, but through that also decrease the PTSD symptoms. So this study was about checking whether the hypnosis can reduce de facto the PTSD symptoms. This study was conducted by an American team led by Tara Galofsky at the National Center for PTSD in Boston. And same as in the previous case, the sleep quality have significantly increased, and also the PTSD symptoms have decreased. But in order to be totally frank here, it's not like the hypnosis have directly lowered the PTSD symptoms, because this lowering of PTSD symptoms came from this improvement of sleep quality. So we cannot really say here, in case of those studies, that hypnosis have reduced the PTSD symptoms, at least not directly, but in the whole package, it actually did the work. And by the way, my own recording improving the sleep quality is available on my website for free. I think the studies which I've brought up here shown clearly that hypnosis is not any sort of magic. Hypnosis is attention engineering. But most importantly, it shows how great potential is hidden inside your mind and how much hypnosis can boost your work efficiency by unlocking this potential and therefore improving your life quality. Alright, now why am I doing this? You might actually think that it is weird that someone like me with a technical background is actually involved in a field which is seemingly so far away from the technical ones as a hypnotherapy. As an analyst, I have been working for IT companies implementing software solutions in such countries as Japan, South Korea, Dominicana, and also I have been optimizing business processes. But during my work, I have noticed that something has been totally ignored in the chase of better results and delivering yet another projects. The charts and the tables did not contain one key factor: the people who have been paying price for delivering those projects in terms of stress, insomnia, and burnouts. And don't get me wrong, I totally agree that both system optimization and the business processes optimization together are one of the key factors to build the company's competitiveness and the profitability, but neither of those two is solving those people problems that I've just mentioned. And think about it, in terms of the growth of artificial intelligence, who is actually thinking now about increasing the profitability of their organization by providing the well-being for their employees and thus increasing the performance? My impression from my personal experience is that a lot of analysts and the business owners are focusing only on optimizing the systems or a business processing, by, for example, optimizing some algorithm so it actually runs more efficiently, or speeding up a shipment process so it actually delivers the product faster to their clients. But oftenly they forget that the biggest asset for an organization are the people who are running it. This human factor is so important because no matter what kind of procedures you have, no matter what technology you are using, at the end of the day, it's the people who are at the steer of it, and it's the people who are making the decisions. So while many people are asking yet another question about where to hook AI into, I am asking the question of how do we boost the attention level of the employees and improve the decision making. After all, every tool is as good as the person who is using it. Therefore, my mission is not only to improve your business by optimizing business processes, but also by optimizing people. And trust me, I know it firsthand, because I know how it's like to work for like 12 hours daily for weeks, and I know how in those conditions even the best procedures are failing when you're trying to still accelerate. Because no matter how well written are your procedures or documentation, and no matter how expensive technology you are using, when you are having an employee with a burnout, even the best procedures might end up being useless. So, seeing this unmet niche on the market, I have decided to step out and give it a shot. I've developed this strategy for my practice and launched this channel in order to share my knowledge. Alright, so now when we know that hypnotherapy is not any sort of magic and that it's actually working, I would like to tell you in the next video about how exactly you can implement it in your business. So if you are curious about it and you don't want to miss any of my new videos, then subscribe to Mind Owners in order to make the first step in order to become the true owner of your own mind. Mind your mind!